This is a 6.7 liter Powerstroke, and this is a 7.3 liter Powerstroke. And today in this video, we're gonna be comparing the cost to own a 6.7 versus the cost to own a 7.3. We're gonna be breaking down all the maintenance required, insurance required, the amount of diesel required, and also any miscellaneous expenses that come along the way in the life of these trucks. This is my brother's 6.7 Powerstroke. He actually owns a landscaping company. If you guys need landscaping work, I'll leave the link to his company down below. We're gonna start with the expenses on the 7.3 liter Powerstroke. I've made a couple of videos in the past explaining the cost to own the 7.3 Powerstroke a month. That was about 3 years ago, and that was outdated. That was back when diesel was like $2 a gallon. Now it's up to $4 a gallon. So this is an updated cost breakdown for the 7.3 Powerstroke on what it costs to own in 2023. For the maintenance, that is going to be our first expense. It's going to be the oil filters, tires, more stuff like that. I'll put up an exact cost breakdown now that you guys can look at. Maintenance is going to run you about $120 a month on this thing. That is going to include a lot of more oil changes versus the 6.7. The 6.7, you're going to need to change your oil about every 10,000 miles, 7,500 to 10,000 miles. The 7.3s, I like to change them between 3 and 5,000 miles just because these 7.3s run a little bit dirtier than these 6.7s do. For my credibility here, I do have 487,000 miles on the 7.3, and it has original injectors, so the injectors have not been replaced. Now for the insurance. Insurance on this thing is going to be a little bit more expensive than the 6.7, and that is going to cost me about $164 a month, which isn't too bad for insurance. $164 for insurance, not too bad, but that's about what it cost me a month to own the 7.3 Powerstroke. My next and biggest expense on the 7.3 Powerstroke is going to be diesel. This is going to be taking into account that I'm driving 50 miles a day every day to and from work. It's going to cost me about $300 a month for diesel. That's considering that I'm getting 16 miles per gallon versus the 15 miles a gallon that the 6.7 gets. You're looking at about $300 per month for the 7.3 Powerstroke, which isn't too bad, but it's not very good compared to if I was driving, say, a car. The next one, guys, is going to be your miscellaneous expenses. That's going to be like if anything breaks on the truck or anything happens on the truck that you weren't expecting. That is what the miscellaneous expenses are. For example, just last week I had my serpentine belt break. I know, guys, I call it serpentine belt. That is the right term that you use. I used to be calling it alternator belt, but I got flamed for it, so we're going to be calling it serpentine belt from now on, and that is what it's called. So the serpentine belt blew up last week and I had to replace it. That came out to $45, so that's included in the miscellaneous expenses. I didn't know that was going to happen, and it just happened. So that's kind of your emergency fund that you're going to have just in case something does break. So how that $75 breaks down is basically you get $75 a month. You're saving that every month, and then when something breaks, then you have that extra cash saved up to where you can put it towards that part that you need. Something isn't going to break every single month. It's going to be 6 months down the line, something big breaks or an injector goes out, that I have that extra $75 a month that's been accumulating over those 6 months, that I now have that extra money to go and spend on a new injector. That way you have that accumulated cash saved up to then go and buy your parts. So about all in to maintain the 7.3 Powerstroke, you were looking at about $659 a month, which isn't too bad, but it's not the greatest. That is going to include all your maintenance, all your diesel, insurance, and any extra miscellaneous expenses that you have along the way. Now that is not 1,000,000% accurate, just because this calculation is based off if you drive exactly 50 miles every single day. If you drive more, you're going to be paying more. If you drive less, you're obviously going to be paying less. I don't drive that much right now. I just wanted to give an exact calculation, a real world calculation as to if you're driving to and from work every day. 50 miles a day is a pretty good rough estimate. $659 a month to own, drive, and maintain a 7.3 Powerstroke on 35s. That is the 35-inch tires. That is why the maintenance is $120 a month versus the 6.7, which is $90 a month. All right, now that you guys have seen the 7.3 Powerstroke, we are now going to break down the expenses for the 6.7 liter Powerstroke. This is a work company truck, so he obviously has company insurance for it, which is going to be more expensive, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to be going off of the insurance of a personal insured person. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the cost on the 6.7 Powerstroke. The first one is going to be our maintenance. The maintenance on the 6.7 is going to be pretty similar to the maintenance on the 7.3. There might be a couple things here and there that you're going to have to change on the 6.7 that you're not going to have to change on the 7.3, and vice versa. Pretty equal in maintenance, so it's going to come around $90 a month to maintain, and here's the math breakdown on that. I'll let you guys read that really quick here. That is going to be what it's going to cost on the 6.7. Maintenance isn't too much a month, but it does add up over time. $90 a month for the 6.7 is about what you're going to be looking at. Now, since my 7.3 Powerstroke gets a little bit better fuel mileage, it's going to come around 16 miles per gallon versus this 6.7 is going to run you about 15 miles per gallon. Now, that varies on how you get on it and what kind of driving you're doing. If you're doing a bunch of city miles, obviously it's going to be less. If you're doing a bunch of highway miles, obviously it's going to be more. Every single month, he's going to spend about $320 a month daily driving this thing 50 miles a day. Now that is a pretty conservative number. That is about what you're gonna be looking at in order to fill up a 6.7 and keep it going and keep diesel in it for the duration of the month. It's gonna cost you about $320. So the next thing is actually going to be insurance. Insurance on this thing is gonna be about the same price as the 7.3. I put it at $150 a month. I don't really know how much my brother pays just because it's company insurance, but if I was to be personally insured, I know it'd be between $130 and $175. So I shot in the middle and I hit $150 versus my 7.3, which is $164. So a little bit more for the 7.3 to insure. Now for the extra miscellaneous expenses, this is gonna include like if anything breaks, if his alternator breaks, if something breaks on his truck, or thieves, this also accounts for thieves breaking in every now and then, that is gonna come out to $100 a month. Now the reason it's $100 a month, guys, is because newer truck, newer parts, more expensive parts. So to give an example of how this exactly works, let's say 6 months from now, his alternator blows up or something blows up on the truck. Over those 6 months, that $100 a month has been accumulating 6 times. Now he's gonna have $600 a month sitting there in order to pay for the alternator or if anything breaks. So that's kind of why you save that $100 a month on the side for miscellaneous stuff, just in case something goes wrong. That's not including your maintenance. So that being said, all in, you're looking at a whopping $660 a month to maintain this 6.7 Powerstroke. Now that is only $1 more than the 7.3. You guys can kind of see that all diesels are pretty expensive and you're gonna be spending about the same price on all of them. Now some areas of the 6.7 Powerstroke are a little bit more expensive to maintain. His diesel is gonna come in at $20 extra a month versus the 7.3, just because the 7.3 gets a little bit better gas mileage. So his miscellaneous stuff is gonna come at $25 more expensive. That is just because it is a newer vehicle, and if something does break, it's obviously gonna be a little bit more expensive than the 7.3. Now stuff doesn't break as often on his truck versus the 7.3. My 7.3 has 487,000 miles on it, and this only has 110,000 miles. That covers pretty much everything if something does go wrong. And trust me guys, something will go wrong eventually on these 6.7s, or even the 7.3 a lot of times tends to break. But on the 7.3, guys, it is more expensive to maintain insurance and also to actually overall maintain the vehicle, like oil changes and stuff like that. Just because you want to change your oil a little bit more often in the 7.3, it runs a lot dirtier than these 6.7s do. So I think it's like an extra $8 or $9 a month to run these tires over the course of like 4 years, tires versus those tires, which over the grand scheme of things is actually quite a bit of money. All in all though, both these trucks are going to cost you about the same price to maintain and keep every single month. So just kind of go on your personal preference on which one you're going to buy. Obviously, if you're looking for towing capacity, both of these trucks are great. But if you're looking for a newer body style or a newer feel to your truck, a 6.7 Powerstroke is going to be where you're going to want to go. Now, the 7.3 Powerstrokes are going to be a little bit cheaper just because they're much of an older vehicle. But I know some of these newer 7.3s can get up to almost as expensive as a 6.7 Powerstroke. That being said, just kind of choose your own personal preference on what you want. The 6.7 and the 7.3, they're both great trucks, great vehicles. Also, guys, on this 6.7, that accounts for the DEF too. So also the 6.7 Powerstrokes are going to have a DEF filter unless you delete it. This 6.7 actually does have a DEF in it, so he has to fill that up every 3 times he changes his gas, which is going to come out to a pretty good expense, as you guys saw earlier in this video when I put the expense sheet up. Now I'm going to be showing you guys the race between the two, just because I know you guys wanted to see, and I have raced these before, so I'm just going to put that footage over it. Let's go ahead and roll the race of these two right now. 2, 1. One. 3, 2, 1. Now that you guys have seen the race and that they are still pretty equally as fast, that was the 6.7 Powerstroke versus the 7.3 Powerstroke cost to maintain a month. Also, if you guys want to buy Powerstroke Central merch, we've got 7.tree hat, we've got shirts, we've got other Powerstroke Central hat, and also we've got a bunch of badass stickers. The 7.3 liter sticker you see right there on the store, and also Thieves Will Be Shot stickers. So we got the whole array on the store if you guys want to purchase anything. Make sure you guys subscribe, because at 10K subscribers, we are actually going to 48 states, visiting all of you guys, filming with the 7.3, hopefully it makes it, and also putting in a new turbo. For those of you guys wondering about the injectors, they do come in Wednesday this week, so make sure you guys are keeping on the lookout for that video. This one, thank you guys for watching this Powerstroke Central video. Make sure you guys watch more badass truck content. There'll be more up here or down there, and peace out, guys.